You just touch your nose, raise your hand if you have an idea, or yeah, Margot.
Well, we were at a service once and kind of got an idea because with 3 boys 2 years apart, there was a lot of activity, a lot of energy.
Yep.
So we had a particularly challenging service in a church, and people came up to us afterwards and thanked us. And they said, "Oh, we're so glad to see that missionary families are normal." So I think people think that sometimes missionary families we've got it all together or something. Sure. We are just normal people.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool.
Right. I think I was going to say something very similar, just that we're normal people. And I think that God calls everybody to a life of obedience. And some of us he calls to obey him in the United States, and some of us he calls to other areas of the world. And I think sometimes just in the heart to try to raise awareness for missions, that missionaries are treated differently and seen in a different light. That's really not true. We're just normal people who love God and want to obey him. That's it.
Yeah.
And kind of following up on that a little bit, because, I know that I've said that to people, and I've tried to get across the message that missionaries are normal people, but sometimes there's a wall in people's minds. So could you explain a few areas what you mean by we're normal people?
We eat 3 times a day. We shower. We have Facebook.
Wait, no. Are you saying that missionaries have to actually eat food?
They don't fast all day long?
That's also probably one of the misconceptions, is that missionaries are going through very difficult times, don't have anything, are suffering, and more so it's just that, and that we live in very primitive, difficult circumstances. Some may live in those situations and they love it, but most of us live in metropolitan cities and work with a great church. So that's one of the things is, there's such a conception of like the African queen being out in such a remote area and suffering because there's just no response. And that's not true in our area.